Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and elders of GMS, who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Then She That Is Mine Enemy Shall See It. And ultimately, I just want to touch on the fact that, you know, and this could go, for anybody, you know, but I want to touch on the fact that, we're not supposed to be having alliances, with the enemy, basically. And the woman being the weaker vessel is very close to, brothers, because some brothers may have women, right? And the scriptures say that Esau, Edom will come down with great wrath because he had but a short time, right? And we know going all the way back to the beginning that the devil approached a woman, to try to make something shake. And in these last days, as the devil desires to sift us as wheat, he could use our women to do that, So this is like a warning and a message, even for the sisters, that may be watching that doesn't have a husband yet. You're thinking about a husband, you need to prepare your mind and know what you're involved in and the type of attacks that might come to you to even get to your husband. All right. Because you're this man's pillar and rest. All right. And Satan would try to interfere with that, right? To get at the real person he wants to get to would be the man, because a man is your covering, your foundation, and all of that. And if he can, collapse that, then basically the house will fall. All right. So you want to prepare yourself and understand that these attacks might come to you, all right, as a woman, and to be ready for it, right? To stand firm on, your beliefs, and just trusting in your husband, all right? And, pretty much that's it. It's just a warning to let you know that these attacks will happen, right? They are already happening, and you need to be strong so you don't fit this scripture right here, because you make an alliance with these devils, personally, if I had my wife or if I had a wife, or a case may be, even going to, of course, Isaiah 4:1, where it says many women, I wouldn't want, my wife to be someone that didn't have an alliance, with the devil in these last days, with any way, shape, or form, something light or something heavy, whatever it is that this individual, whatever you might have, do whatever they ask, because these devils come with lying words and smooth words, to try to do anything, to come against the Lord's elect. All right, this is Micah 7:10. It says, Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, Where is the Lord Yahweh Bashmi shall thy power? Now, let's just say Esau come in, the wicked come in, Satan put thoughts into your mind, right? And you're wondering why you're under attack the way that you are, right? And that's because you're with a man of the Lord. You have a great blessing ahead of you, which we'll get in First Timothy, that you will be saved and childbearing. All right, so and that's the only way women in the elect women will be saved, right? They will need a husband and they will need to bear the children. All right, so you have a great blessing, and Satan could mess that up for you by seeing if he can get to you to get to your husband. All right, and the Lord, hey, if you're touching the apple of the Lord's eye, right, which would be that elect man, you have a part to play in trying to bring him down. So you're joined hand in hand with the enemy. And scriptures say, "He that holdeth and he that helpeth shall fall together." All right, so you don't want to be in that lot. So going back to what I was saying, if you're being attacked the way you are, you can't say, where's God? Where's Yahweh? Why are we getting attacked like this? Why is this happening to us? And we're Israelites. We love God. You might be thinking in your mind, once you get that husband, whatever the case may be, my husband is supposed to be the elect. Why are we under attack like this? You got to go through certain things, and you got to be tested and stand strong. So that could be your one little ass test, Esau approach you on some, we need you to do this or that, you know, and you can either, have your faith and not listen to this devil, or, show that you don't have no faith and show that you are that enemy, right? So, basically, bottom line, just, stay firm and stay strong, especially if you're trying to seek a husband, to be of that number of that hopeful elect. If you understand and know what you're involved in and what you're trying to attain, and understand and know that you need a husband, you don't want to be found to be an enemy, join hand in hand with the wicked. Micah 7:10, then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah, thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. Right? So you're gonna be out there. And that's my type of mindset. If I had a woman and I found out that she, was joined hand in hand with the wicked, she complaining, low key, murmuring under her breath, maybe the condition of life that we're in, knowing that we're in servitude and in slavery. The devil can come in many ways and tricks and say different things. Look at your position, what you have, whatever the case may be. Knowing that we have such riches and greatness, waiting for us if we just endure unto the end. Right? These are all things that you should believe in. But if you, like I said, if you switch up, switch teams, switch sides, then you're gonna be trotting down in the street. And it's something I pray that me personally, But like I said, I don't have, a rib or anything like that. So, but if that time did come, if I'm of the elect and I'm not a martyr, and a woman did come my way, I would rather have somebody that stood firm, in these last days, and not switched out and traded. But it's not up to me. It's up to the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah. All right, but the warning is going out there. All right, this is Isaiah 30. And 1, it says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So like I said, Esau can come many different ways. He can lie, he can bullshit, he can say that the brother's on the investigation for such and such. If you don't help us, you're aiding in helping a criminal. If he goes to jail, you're gonna go to jail too. Yeah, all of these things that this devil could say is something that you will have to get down with, right? Because the scriptures do talk about some of us being thrown into prison. It says, "Be thou faithful unto death." All right, because when Yahweh Shai come, you're still gonna be, that elect man is gonna be raised up first. Right, and Lord willing, if you were his husband, you stay strong, you die right there with him. You think the Most High is not going to remember your labor of love for sticking by your husband? Well, you could have easily just said, "Nah, fuck that. I'll find the next elect man," But you stood right there and you died with your husband. Yeah, Lord willing, you both just raised up as the elect. All right, Esau come through and you trying to trust in him. He's like, "Listen, we're gonna investigate him. We need you to do this, that, and that. Just give us information and we got you." Hey, hell no. That's that, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, that's that Isaiah 28. I'll grab it real quick. Or 29. That covenant with death too. Don't make any type of covenant with this devil is going to be against you. All right, Isaiah 28:14, it says, "Wherefore hear the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem." It says, "Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourges shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves." You're not hidden. You're not going to be hidden. The Lord sees all. He's going to make sure you get your recompense. All right, if you do, any act against the apple of his eye, which is the elect, right? And this time, the elect man, right? Because the woman is going to have to be joined unto that man, right, to be delivered and saved. All right, so you damn sure don't want to try to do anything against your husband. All right. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashah, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, a stone, a tri-stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Right now, that foundation was Yahushua, of course. All right. But, the point was that covenant. It doesn't matter if you thought you made a covenant, you will be got, and handle with, basically. All right. So Isaiah 30:1 again, it says, woe to the rebellious children, save the Lord Yahweh Washem Yahushai, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Right? Because at the end of the day, you can't take the elect from Yahweh Bashem Shah. It's something we understand too. This devil has multiple tasks that he's trying to do that can't be accomplished, right? Like trying to get rid of the Israelites, right? Trying to search out the ocean below or the heavens above, or trying to make one of the elect lose their place, which is impossible, right? So if you're dealing with a man, once you get that man, whatever the case may be, and he's potential elect material, I guess, in your eyes, whatever the case may be, you see him doing right by you, however you judge, then you want to try to be right by him, because that's your ticket out, your way out. All right. So, trusting in Esau, telling you, oh yeah, I'm trying to come against your husband, for this, that, and the third, it'd be your shame and your confusion, especially if that man is an elect, because you're just wasting your time and you lost your position. You there doing whatever you got to do, and then shit, you could have been the first wife. Because regardless of what, in the kingdom, the Israelite man is gonna have multiple women. All right, but if you was among the women that was there in the beginning, that definitely be remembered, of course, But you there in the beginning, and you was the first one to sell out, right? And you the first one to leave. When all hell breaking loose, you don't know what made you do it. You just ended up wanting to leave. Now you caught out there, I'll jump down a little bit. It says Isaiah 30:8. It says, now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Rashad, which says, you see not, and to the prophets prophesy not to us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and in perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity, this sin, shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly and at an instant. Right? I'll continue. It says, and he shall break it as a breaking of the potter's vessel, that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a shred to take fire from the hearth, or to take water without out of the pit. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved, and quietness and confidence shall be your strength, and you will not see. So for you women out there, just trust in your husband, trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right, and play your role, and you'll be all right. Anything other than that, it's out of bounds. It says, but ye said no, for we will flee upon horses. Therefore shall ye flee, and we will ride upon the swift. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift. Okay. It says 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one, at the rebuke of 5 shall you flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of the mountain, and as an ensign on the hill. Yeah, so ultimately, you trusting in Esau, Edom, trusting in the wicked, trusting in Satan, is gonna leave you out here dry with no help. Right? The scriptures say that a man shall be a hiding place from the wind. Let me grab it real quick. I believe it's 32. Isaiah 32, and here from the point from the top one. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest. Right. So at the end of the day, if you know what's good for you, if you see what's happening, if you see what's coming, you know, because it is what it is. You women out there, you've been living your best life. All right, and all of a sudden, just like everybody else, everybody everybody having a problem. Now they're trying to seek answers. They're trying to seek God. Now that all of this evil time is here and the spirit is here. But if you know what's good for you and you see what's happening, you read in the room, you damn near about to lose your job and your home and all this extra stuff, then you better be looking for a man that the Most High Yahweh Basman Rashad has you know put his covering over. All right. It says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. I seen one video the brothers was posting where this chick was saying, "You can't help me, uh, you know, in a survival apocalypse or something like that, then she don't want you or something." And yeah, that's just what it is. And the Most High Yahweh Bashman Shai is going to make that man a hiding place from all of that, and that's going to be like man. All right. Isaiah 32 and 9, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless woman, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Yeah, hard times is upon the world right now. All right, so if you know about this truth, and you know what you need to do, and the type of order you need to be in, then that's exactly what you need to stay on, basically. Especially when affliction and things come, because you can lose your position easy. All right, saying getting in your brain, and you think I don't know, trying to run something or do something, or you can lose your position. It says, tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and grid sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. All right. So all hell is about to hit this place. We can see it clear as day. And some of you women are starting to see it too. All right. It's Matthew 10 and 34. All right. And once again, this is going back to Micah 7 and 10. You don't want to be a foe in the household, right? Because you think you got away with some shit. Women think they get away with something, But the Most High Yahweh Bashman Washai is watching, right? You'll be right there thinking you got your position just solidified. You done turn on your husband a little bit, backdoor deal, wherever the case may be, did something. The Lord got you right there, still getting popped, still making him his food, wherever the case may be, thinking you all right, and then at the last, you just out there because you ain't have faith. That's what it really boils down to. All right, having faith and actually believing in your husband, trusting your husband, right? Because you see him trusting Yahweh Bashman Bashan. Matthew 10 and 34, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. Right? And I was watching the elder Apostle Gabar's daily live stream earlier today. Him and some of the bishops. Pretty much they went into a topic about whatever the case may be. It made me think about something, and pretty much this is where the lesson came from. Matthew 10 and 39. It says, "He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life shall, for my sake, shall find it." And how much so for you women that's thinking about the city, and all hot girl summer and all this, whatever the case may be. You especially I seen the brother Ward, right? GMS, basically GMS, Florida, Miami, I believe he was in Fort Myers, but he was saying FOMO, fear of missing out, which I gotta watch the video, but I know you women could have that too. Fear of missing out. You see your homegirls out there basically living in sin, and she is dead while she living though, right? You ain't missing nothing, all right? You just gotta sit tight and wait, and if you believe, you'll be all right, basically, all right? So if you feel like you're losing your life, guess what? You done found it. If you feel like, damn, I'm even if you feel like that, I'm missing out, right? Sin is fun, sin is fun, going out there doing whatever the case may be. But then if you go out there and find some type of life, you're gonna lose your actual life. All right. So you rather feel like you're losing your life in this time, right? Especially for the Lord's sake, right? Doing what the Lord asks of you, all right? What did he ask of you? What he asked of you? First Timothy 2:9. It says, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. You see I guess your old friends, or whatever the case may be, they out there with basically nothing on, right? They counted as dogs, counted as whores. You know, shit. Us men, we see that shit. You think we want to bring you home to our mom? Like, mom, yeah, this is the chick that's about to have, all your grandchildren, and she can see your panties when you sit down and all of that. She probably thinking about her granddaughters, what they gonna be like. It says First Timothy 2:9, in like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Right? Basically just doing too much. You women, you do what you do, you know, but y'all know when y'all do too much. All right. Soundness of mind, self-control is that, sobriety, right? And understanding you as the weaker vessel too, right? You might feel weak, and whatever the case may be, now is not the time to lash out. You can, talk with your husband, whatever the case may be. Keep a sound mind. It says, but which becometh woman professing godliness with good works. All right, what you can Psalms 31, Proverbs 31, Proverbs 31. Says let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Yeah, you women have nothing to say pretty much regarding the scriptures, right? Unless you're teaching the children one another. But when it comes to a man, you just learn it. You just gonna learn it. What you need to know. Right? You got a question, you can ask a question, but you're not teaching nobody, especially not the man. And that's just the order. It says, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. It's pretty simple, right? Self-explanatory. It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness and sobriety. So faith was first, because you can't lose faith. Any lack of faith is not going to do you well, basically. Right? You link with Esau. Esau say that he's watching your husband. He's coming after your husband. Your husband is saying hurtful things on the internet, whatever the case may be, saying hurtful things on the street corners, and you could go down with him unless you do A, B, and C. You just tell him fuck you. You just tell him fuck you, right? And you'll be all right. The Lord will be with you. Which you don't gotta say that. You walk away, wherever the case may be. Thank you, Mr. White Man. Whatever the case may be. All right, the devil gonna come how he come. All right, pretty much that's just the point right there. Keep your faith, trust in your Yahweh Bashman Rashad, trust in your husband, and you will be okay. All right, Lord willing, you will edify from the lesson, Shalom, to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children, Shalom.